Hi everyone, it's Di here from Di's Den and welcome to the last Sunday project for July. I'm going to do another Christmas card, but I'm going to be doing it in all retired products except for the ink. So I was asked to do this project by a lady on my Facebook group and I haven't got her name written down here, but I will put it in the comments down below here. She asked me because she said, I saw this done and I couldn't figure out how it went together, and it's actually taken me a little bit of a time to get the measurements right, because everything was in really strange measurements. I thought they were rather strange, and they didn't quite go together the way I liked it. So I tweaked that, and not that I'm saying the other person's card wasn't lovely, but it was nice. It was in a foreign language, so it made it very, very hard. And so I actually tweaked it a little bit, and this is what I came up with, this version. And I don't know what I'm going to call it, a pop-up in a card. So it pops up like so on the inside. So probably inside Batwing card or something like that, I'll be calling it. So that's my card. So I'm going to, as I say, I'm going to be doing it with all retired products. So let me pop that up the way and let me show you what you need. Now I've actually cut out, trimmed some sprigs from an old punch, so they're going on one side. That's for my front, what do we call that, sentiment tag. So I'll pop that on one side for now, but this is what you actually need to make the card itself. So you need a card base that measures 8 1/4 by 5 7/8, and then you need two mechanisms that measure 4 3/4 by 1 5/8. Let me move these pieces out of the way. Then you need two stays, and that's what I'm calling them. That's these things that make it pop up underneath here. These bits here. So you need two stays, and they measure 4 3/4 by 3/4 inch, and then two pieces that actually stabilize those two stays, which measure 3/4 inch by 3 1/8 inch. Then you'll need two flaps that measure 3 inches by 6 3/4 inches. Now that's for the card. For the layers, for the front of the card, you'll need a piece that measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and then 5 3/8 by 3 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. For my inside middle piece, which is this piece here, this bit here, you're going to need a piece of card that measures 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and a white piece that measures 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. For my flaps, you'll need two pieces that measure 3 1/4 by 2 3/4, and two pieces of designer series paper that measure 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. And then for the other pieces, because they're different sizes, they measure 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, so you need two of them, and two pieces of designer series paper that measure 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. Okie dokie. Now for my sentiment, I've got a big sentiment because I'm using this called Greatest Part of Christmas, and I'm going to put this big Christmas greeting on the front, and then on the inside I'm going to put wishing you a Christmas of smiles and love that will last all year. So for my sentiment on the front, I have a piece that measures 4 inches by 2 3/8, and then this piece measures 3 3/4 by 2 1/8 inch. Okay, so let's pop all these over here, and we're going to start with our main card. So we're going to score our main card on the long side, as we normally do, at the 4 1/8 inch mark. 4 1/8 inch mark, using the small ball as always. Okay, so that's our main card done. we're actually going to score these on our mechanism on our trimmer because they've got a weirdy measurement. So I'm going to score these ones now, which is our inner flaps, and we're going to score these at 3 inches. So let's score them at 3 inches. And then our stays, we're going to score them at 3/4 of an inch on both ends. So 3/4 of an inch, turn it around, 3/4 of an inch. So pop that over there. Our little pieces that go with it will go over there. They don't get scored. 3/4 and 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so I'll keep my scoring tool and I'm going to bring in my trimmer. Even though I've got a scorer on my trimmer here, I still prefer to use my scoring tool. I actually find it, for me, it's easier. Everybody is different. So we're going to score this piece at on the short side at the 1 5/8 of an inch mark. So 1 5/8 of an inch. So I will do one and then we'll do the other one afterwards. Then we're going to turn it and we're going to score it at 13/16. So 3/4 is 12/16. So it's the next mark past that, which is 2.1 centimeters. So now I'm going to score that with the open. Okay, once you've done that, then you're going to score on the diagonal both ways. That way I'm going to actually close it because I actually find that I can keep it still better. So we're going to score it that way and then we're going to score it the other way. Okay, so if you can see this on here, you've got a score down the middle, then the 1 at 1 5/8, and then you've scored it on the diagonal. So we'll do that one more time. We're going to score this piece on the short side, which is this side, at 1 5/8 of an inch, 4 5/8 of an inch. And we're going to turn it onto the long side and we're going to score this at 13/16. Now if you prefer to use centimetres, you will find that I will have both on my Facebook group. So once you've done that, we're going to do the diagonal score. From that line, that score line at the 1 5/8 mark to the top corners. Okay, so we've got our 2 pieces like that. So that's all our scoring done. We will go through all the sizing, score marks again in a moment. So we're going to, our main card was scored at 4 1/8. So we're going to fold that in half and we're going to fold and burnish that card. Now we are going to put our front panel on the card first. It's just easier, it's less bulky, so let's do that now. Oops, my glue just fell over. Thank goodness it didn't fall on the floor. So if you've got a directional paper, just make sure that you have your direction for your DSP in the landscape. Mine is non-directional, which is really good. And it's very old designer series paper, but I just wanted to use up some of my old sheets. I had some that I've got had like 3/4 of a sheet left in a pack, and I thought, oh, you know, this is silly, not, you know, just keeping that one piece. Let's use it up. If you're going to send this to someone, they're not going to know whether it was this year's paper or last year's paper. So, okay, so that's the front of our card done. Let me put the pin in my glue for a minute because we're actually going to work on our mechanisms. So we've got the 2 and they were now, these were 4 4 3/4 by 1 5/8 inches, and we scored them at the 1 5 inch mark. Oh, I've got glue on my fingers, look at that. 1 5/8 inch mark on the short side, on the long side, sorry, on the long side, and then we scored them at 13/16 on the short side. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to cut these. So what we want to do is we want to do one way and one the other. So for me, I found this easier to do this before I burnished, folded them, is you need to cut from that corner up to the middle. And then turn it around and then down that middle score line like so. So our piece looks a bit like this. So we've just cut off the 2 triangles here. So we're going to turn this one over so you've got the score lines bumps up, and do exactly the same again. So we're going to cut that to the middle score line, turn it around and cut down. That way you know that you've got them both the same, exactly the same. Alright, so you need one to go one way and one to go the other. Let's move those pieces out of the way. So now we're going to actually fold and burnish these pieces. So we're going to fold them down the main piece, and we're going to fold along that score line there and make sure that it's square with the other score line, like so. So it's square with this score line, and then we're going to bring this one under and making sure that that is square with the side of the card, the piece of card here. So we've got our main one that way, this way and this way. So let's do that again. We're going to fold this in half on the long side. I'm going to open it up, and then on this score line that is on the diagonal, we're going to bring that across and make sure that it's nice and straight with that other score line that was on there. So with it straight with this score line here. Then we're going to bring this top triangle over, making sure that it's nice and square with the side, and bring that down like so. So what I'm going to do is I forgot something. I'm getting good at that lately. These are my pegs. I just find it easier to use them, but it's entirely up to you. So we're going to open our card up, and this is going to fit in here. So when that's down like that, it is almost flush with the side, and turn that piece under there. You've got like a triangle piece here like this, and that's going to be up against that score line. So we're going to pop glue down this side, and this is the one for the right hand side, sorry. So the right hand side one has the cutout on it. We're going to pop our piece in here like so, and then we're going to pop that in here. So we're going to pop that down like that, so it's, you've got that triangle so you can see where it's going to go, and bring that in and line it up fairly well with the corner side of the card and with that top score line there. Once you're happy with that one, we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to do it so that it lines up exactly the same way. So we're going to pop this one in, and we're going to then open it up, fold that under like so, and bring that in, oops, so it matches up with the side of the card and with the top there like so, exactly the same way. If you're happy with that, you can whiz that one down in the same way. Alright, so now we're going to actually glue these pieces here. So for that, we need for that to be lying like so. So we're going to bring them over flat, and we're going to pop a bit of glue onto this little triangle here, and we're going to fold this over a whole lot and then glue that down flat like so. We're going to do exactly the same on the other one. So we're going to put glue on this little triangle piece, then fold that over like so, and it'll be flat like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just pop our pegs on there, because we want it to be quite hard before we actually mess around with the mechanism. So while we're waiting on that to dry, we will bring in our other pieces. So we're going to do a middle section first, because it's just easier to put it in. So we're going to stamp, we'll get there, stamp our front piece, which says, and because this is square, it doesn't matter if I've got it upside down, and just bring that in nice and square. And pop that piece on there. So pop that onto the back of that other piece. And we're going to be giving those other pieces quite a bit of time to dry, because you really want that piece really dry. So we're going to be doing all of our other pieces before we go back to that. Okay, so we've got our centerpiece ready. We're going to get our stays ready. So we're going to glue this piece between these two score lines. It's just to give it some more strength. So it's like a reinforcement. So we've got one ready. And we've got the other one ready. So our stays are now ready, so they can just go there. We are then going to glue our layers together for both our flaps. So let's do the same again here. Once again, making sure if you've got a directional paper that on the longer pieces it is in the portrait style. You cut them portrait. Sorry, I seem to have slid up the table a bit. So let's get that one out of the way. That's my other one. Okay, so they're all done, and then we'll bring in our other pieces, which are, these are the 6 3/4 by 3 inches. So we're going to fold and burnish those, making sure we're nice and square on our burnishing. And we're going to pop the one with the short piece on the left, and then we're going to fold and burnish the other one, making sure again that it's all nice and thin, and that one on the right, so that the smaller end is facing each other in the middle. So that's when you can make sure that you've put these on the correct way up, because if you've got directional paper, you need to make sure that you get one on the left and one for the right, because you don't want to put your paper on the wrong way around. This is why I'm actually showing you both ways, both sides, gluing a whole lot together, so that you know which way around this is going to go. Oops. So, oh, it's got a bit of a beer on that piece of paper. Okay, so we've got one facing one way and one facing the other. So let's pop them out of the way. This will be nice and dry by now, so we can actually bring that in. And please don't ask me where I got my pegs from, because these were something my mum had in her stash. Okay, so now that they're done, we can now fold this down like so, and we know that that's going to be in the correct orientation. We can see that see how our mechanism is working on the inside of our card. Okay, so we're going to actually glue our middle sentiment in first, only because it's easier. If you want to put it in after, that's fine. But I just found it easier to glue that into place before I put my other flaps on, my bat wings on. Alright, so now we're going to bring in our stays, and we're going to fold them one end in. Oops, that's not very straight, is it? So we're going to fold and burnish that one end on both of them. And we're going to glue that so that it faces this way up. Like so. So this edge is against this score line in the middle here. I'm going to pop the first one in. I'm going to put it in roughly between that score line and the bottom of that there. Like so. But when I come to the other one, I'm going to pop this card so that that score line, that thing is sitting on the top of that like so. So when I pop the other one on, I know that I've got it fairly well. Oops, fairly well. You can't be 100%, but fairly well in the same area. So I'm going to pop that on there, and then I'm going to glue that one down into there, lying it down so that I can see that it's in there. Okay, so you've got these in here. They are not going to be showing on the outside. Don't worry about that. They will not show because there is a tiny little gap down the side there. Right, so they're on nice and tight. Woo, yoo-hoo, we're nearly there. We're going to bring in our flaps. Now, obviously the small flap is on the right hand side of that one, left hand side of that one and right hand side of this one. So we're going to glue this onto here. So I'm going to push that down nice and flat, and I'm going to put glue about 1/8 of an inch below that score line. Just about 1/8 of an inch below that score line. And I'm going to line this up with the bottom of this piece here and along this side here. So I'm going to pop it in there like so, and making sure that it's flat. If a little bit of glue pops out the top, you're going to have to squish that off, like I just did, and making sure that that's nice and even. And then we can do exactly the same on the other side. So and once again, you can bring that up if you want like so, so that you know that you've got it right at the sides. And bring it down, no glue showing out the top. Okay, so we're going to give that a few seconds to dry before we mess around with it. So while we're doing that, I'm going to stamp my greeting for the front of the card. I need to put a bit more ink or re-ink my pad. It's getting a bit icky, bit dry. Okay, so we've done that. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to attach these stays to the back of these. And what we do for that is we bring that in closed like so. I can't sort of get it in the camera any more than that. So that this is down. This comes across flat. And you'll notice that it's away from the edge here. And it will be the same on the other side. So we're going to pop some glue on this tab. Holding that down, we're going to pull this one across like so. And give that a bit of a squish down. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to bring this one in, bring this flap over and turn it up. I can only do this as good as I can get it in the camera. Glue on this tab, bring the edge over that way. So we're going to leave that to dry for a few seconds. I'll pop a thing on there while we put this together. Where are my dimensionals? Oh, there's not many of them. None on this one. Never mind. We will cut this up to be using them. Because who wastes? We don't need to waste anything. With the cost of everything these days, who wastes? And I'd rather put too many on, as people would say, than not enough. So that's my saying for the front. Okay, so now this will be dry, so we can now open it up and we can see that it pops. See that? How does that look? Oh, that's fantastic the way that pops, isn't it? It will take a few turns to get it to go the way you want it every time, but it does do it. So now we're going to pop this onto the front of our card. I still don't have any nails. I am actually doing this a little bit before the end of the month, as I will actually be away when this goes live. I will be in Singapore when this goes live, so well, I'll be just the day before I travel home, I believe is what it is. Okay, so let's pop them on there and we'll bring in our sprigs. And I just wanted to put something on here just to brighten it up a little bit. So I'm going to pop a few sprigs on here. That one looks a bit icky, so let's not worry about that one. Let's just do this one. Don't have any embellishments over here, so I can't put any embellishments on it. So I'm just going to put the two on there like so, and I will put some gems on there when I get back over to my other desk. So I'm just going to put a couple of, I don't know if I've got any little ones that will fit, I don't think they'll fit under there, no, so I won't worry about that. I will, and I don't think I've got them here either. Oh yes I do. There we go. I will show you how to fix that. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was hard work. Alright, so we're going to get one of our little glue dots. And what we're going to do with our little glue dot is we're going to roll it into a ball. Roll it into a little ball in our fingers. And we're going to put it on the underside of the sprig, which is going to stick to me, but not you. And then we can pop that down like so, so that it actually is down without being up too high, or down too low I should say. Let's pop another one on the other one. Good job I didn't have any hand cream on my fingers today. So I'll pop them down there, and then I'll just put a glue dot underneath that last one there. So I'm going to fold that in half, popping it onto that one, and onto that one, onto that one, get it off my finger, and then this one can then go over the top of it, like so. So that's my card for today. I hope you liked it. I think I'm going to be calling this a bat wing card, or a wing, inner winged card. The inner winged card, that sounds better than bats. So inner winged card. I will finish this off, so you will see that in the photographs. So this is the card, and I hope the lady that asked me for it, and I can't remember her name, but I will put it up the top, has enjoyed my version of this card. And I will see you all again after I come back from my holidays with the first project for August. Wow, how amazing is that? Look at that. I love that. It's really pretty. But I mean, it was a little bit of effort, but you know what? That's life. Effort. Okie dokie. So if you'd like the written tutorial for this, head down below. You'll find my Facebook group down there. I'm going to put another one of those blue dots underneath that one. That one's annoying me, sitting up. Yes, so you'll find the link down below here, and you will find that you will have to join. You will be asked a question if you're not part of the group already. So you'll be asked a question from the Facebook group to join in, and then you can download the free PDF, which has both inches and centimetres on it, which is really great because I work in inches because I'm old and I actually prefer to work in inches. I can imagine things in inches. I went and had my hair cut the other day, and I said to the lady, cut off 6 inches, and she said to me, oh, what's that in centimetres? So I had to sit there and go, oh, I think that's 15 centimetres. So, but yeah, so if you've enjoyed today's card, please leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. I do love to hear from you all, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.